preparing for Christ's return. After assuring the Thessalonians that all believers, dead or alive when Christ returns, will see and participate in his renewed kingdom, 1 Thessalonians 4:13-18, he now talks about when Jesus will return. Paul, quoting Jesus, is very clear: no one will know. It is interesting to note that 1 Thessalonians was written less than 20 years after Jesus' resurrection. This shows us that from the very beginning believers have been curious, even anxious, about when Christ will return. The same is true today, with many people making headlines every few years with bold predictions of when Jesus will return. And yet, humanity has a 0% success rate in predicting these things. And according to Paul and to Jesus himself, none of us will know or be able to predict when Christ will return. The timing of Christ's return is likened to the appearance of a thief in the night, and the beginning of labor pains. The exact moment labor pains will begin is unexpected, even knowing they will come at some point. Paul's point with these analogies is to show that those who reject God will be surprised by Christ's return and his judgment against sin. Followers of Jesus, while surprised by when Jesus returns, should not be surprised that Jesus has returned, and are encouraged to live faithfully in anticipation of that day. It's not about guessing the right date, but how we live leading up to meeting Jesus. Whether through our death or his return. Faithful Christians differ on interpreting the time and manner in which Christ will return. So it's better to be on the welcoming committee, not the planning committee. Regardless of when and how Jesus returns, our mandate as followers of Christ is unchanged. We are to live faithfully with the hope and prayer that God would allow us to bring as many people as possible into a saving relationship with him until he returns. We should be more concerned about our faithfulness than God's timing. Or think of it this way: if you knew Jesus was returning in 6 months, what would you do differently? The follow-up question then is, why would knowing Jesus' date of return change how you live today? Why not live that way today anyway? Yes, perhaps you may sell your house or quit your job if you knew exactly when he would return. But the reasoning for doing those things is likely to spend more time with people you care about, be more generous, and serve others so they might know Jesus as well. Paul's point is that this is how we should strive to live anyway. If you want to be ready for Jesus' return, be faithful. That is the best way to prepare. Jesus has made it possible for us to live with God. Paul encourages us to live in a way that displays the radical love and grace we have received from him, so that others may turn to Jesus as well. If you want to be ready, be faithful. Today's reflection: am I living in a way that would honor Jesus if he were to return today?
Now concerning how and when all this will happen, dear brothers and sisters, we don't really need to write you. For you know quite well that the day of the Lord's return will come unexpectedly, like a thief in the night. When people are saying, everything is peaceful and secure, then disaster will fall on them as suddenly as a pregnant woman's labor pains begin, and there will be no escape. But you aren't in the dark about these things, dear brothers and sisters, and you won't be surprised when the day of the Lord comes like a thief. For you are all children of the light and of the day. We don't belong to darkness and night. So be on your guard, not asleep like the others. Stay alert and be clear-headed. Night is the time when people sleep and drinkers get drunk. But let us who live in the light be clear-headed, protected by the armor of faith and love, and wearing as our helmet the confidence of our salvation. For God chose to save us through our Lord Jesus Christ, not to pour out his anger on us. Christ died for us so that, whether we are dead or alive when he returns, we can live with him forever. So encourage each other and build each other up, just as you are already doing. However, no one knows the day or hour when these things will happen, not even the angels in heaven or the Son himself. Only the Father knows. When the Son of Man returns, it will be like it was in Noah's day. In those days before the flood, the people were enjoying banquets and parties and weddings right up to the time Noah entered his boat. People didn't realize what was going to happen until the flood came and swept them all away. That is the way it will be when the Son of Man comes. A faithful, sensible servant is one to whom the master can give the responsibility of managing his other household servants and feeding them. If the master returns and finds that the servant has done a good job, there will be a reward.